Hello guys, here Tay99 here and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be going into the preview, the only preview of State of Origin Game 1 for 2024. It's certainly an interesting one in terms of how the teams have developed and laying out, so I think without further ado, let's get into the teams. Starting off with the home side for Game 1, New South Wales, and I remember a couple of months ago, I don't even think it was that far away. It was at NRL 360 where one of the pundits said about, because of how confident they were, the New South Wales was going to win this series. He just went on and said, I think they're going to win 3-0. And then the rugby league gods decided, is that right? And then decided to injure the entire, first team for New South Wales. It's actually ridiculous at how many players who have Origin experience have either been injured, are injured, and probably end up being injured, because it's absolutely mental. So much so that Queensland are actually potentially thinking about they may not actually be the underdogs this year, even though they are somehow. So without further ado, start off with the actual blue side. Fullback, obviously one of the big talking points, Dylan Edwards, which I feel like now is sort of the right time they really needed to bring in Edwards now, because obviously Edwards is arguably the most consistent fullback in the competition for the last couple of years, and it's really important that they're putting him in. It's like, I do admire everything Tedesco has done for New South Wales, but I just think now was the right time. Now going on to the wings, you got Brian Toto, no surprises there, and Zach Lomax, which I actually do agree with. I think he has been on pretty good form for the last couple of weeks. He's been, I don't know if it was the ideas of the Parramatta deal getting to him, but he's actually been playing really good footy. And I'm really happy to see that going on. Then you go into the centres and you've got Joseph Suali'i and Stephen Crichton. Suali'i is probably the best pick out of the amount of centres, because, I mean, if any position got done this year for New South Wales, it's the centres, because bloody hell. Crichton, I think, definitely deserved. I mean, the Bulldogs have been going pretty good so far over the last couple of weeks. Do I think they're back? I think they probably will end up making the top 8, but I don't think they're proven yet, because they've only really beaten the Knights twice, the Dragons and the Tigers. Give it a couple of weeks. If they beat the Roosters, then 100%. I think that match against the Roosters in a couple of weeks' time, sell out a core. I reckon that actually could be the possibility. Halves pairing is, of course, Jerome Luai and Nico Hines, which, yeah, there's no arguments there. Obviously, there's talks of Burton, but Burton is in the reserve. Going into the forward pack, props Jake Trbojevic and Payne Haas. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. The Woodbury boy, very happy for him. Reece Robson at hooker. Again, no real surprise there. Second row of Angus Crichton and Liam Martin. I'm actually really happy Angus has gotten the call, because he's done exceptionally well so far this year. He's really done well, and I believe he deserves a call-up. It's weird. It's like New South Wales actually playing players on form. And then you've got Cameron McInnes at lock, which I think is... I'm excited to see how he does go, and hopefully he does go well there. And I mean, Liam Martin, he's of course he's going to be in the side. Going into the current bench, you've got Isaiah Yeo. I think it's going to be really good coming off the bench as an impact sub. And speaking of more impact off the bench, Spencer Leniu and Halmo Olaka-Atu. Oh boy. And then the 17 currently mentioned here is Hudson Young, another local Hunter boy, because you really need them in your side to win. And it's, I'm happy for him. Hudson's actually been pretty okay for Canberra. I do think, I think Burton might come in, because they do need a utility, I think, for New South Wales for their actual 17. So I do think one of them will probably drop off, and they'd probably have to have a pick. It might be Hudson who gets knocked down, but I do think Burton should be involved in the game somehow. The other reserves, Luke Keary as the what am I doing here? And Mitch Barnett, which I am so happy for. 100% deserved to actually be named in the squad. Hopefully at some point he actually gets a run out there, because you want mayhem, you got Mitch Barnett. So I think from this team, obviously with all of the injuries and stuff like that, I still think it's a pretty competitive team. We're going into game 1, they're going to be facing the Maroons, and this is their side. Reece Walsh at fullback. I think even with the debate about Pong, the deserved Dally M winner, fight me. With that battle, I think Reece Walsh was going to get selected regardless, so Got no problems there. Wingers are Murray Talagi and Xavier Coates. Again, no complaints. They've been absolutely fantastic so far this season. Centres, Valentine Holmes and Hamisa Tabuai-Fidow. I think it's probably fair. Like, I know Gagai, I think, said in the press that if Billy wants him, that he'll be ready to put on the Maroons jersey. But I don't really see Gagai putting on a Maroons jersey unless, like, sort of injury sort of stuff happens again, but this time for Queensland, then he might come in, but I think like Holmes and Fidow, like that's just, it's what you want. It's probably one of the scariest attacks you could see. Tom Dearden at 5'8", I think is fair. I've seen people talk about Ezra Mann potentially being in there, and it's going to be pretty interesting if Ezra Mann was selected, especially with who's on the bench on the other side. And then, of course, you got Daly Cherry-Evans, who I guarantee will score a try in every Origin game this year because for some reason he's actually turned into a try-scoring prodigy in his late age, which is fantastic to see. But yeah, obviously no shocks in the back. Going into the forwards, you got Ruben Cotter and Lindsay Collins. Very solid at prop. Obviously, one of the talking points was David Fifita getting snubbed. But the thing is that with Fifita for me is, on his day, he is the best forward in the comp. I just think that it hasn't been as consistent over the last couple of years of him having been on his day. I still think he's very good, and the Titans are starting to make a bit of a renaissance and coming well. They just beat Brisbane, so it'll be good to see the Titans eventually start to climb up the ladder and not make my prediction look terrible in hindsight. Second row, you got Jaden Sewer and Jeremiah Nanai. Jaden Sewer I'm actually pretty happy for. He's done alright. Jeremiah Nanai. I think Jeremiah Nanai is probably the most consistent forward in the comp. Is that shocking? I don't know. And then number 13, Patrick Carrigan. Yeah, no shocks there. Currently named on the bench, Harry Grant. I think is going to be a ridiculous impact when he comes on. Mawika Fodawaker, Jermaine Hopgood, and Selwyn Cobbo. Selwyn Cobbo, genuinely, if he does start from the bench, I think he's going to be... For Queensland to win game one, I think it's going to be on him when these interchanges come in, because he's going to be so important for Queensland to, if New South Wales started getting a resurgent attack, he could try to come in and put the game out of reach for New South Wales. Then you got the free reserves. Ezra Mann is in the reserves. I don't think he'll actually come into the starting side. It would be pretty interesting if he did. Brendan Piakura, yeah, I don't mind. And Felice Kafusi, I do think maybe if any of the free reserves were to come into the 17, it would be Felice Kafusi. Who would you probably take out for Felice Kafusi? That's hard. Maybe have Fodawaker at 18. But yeah, I think it's obviously a very good Queensland lineup. There's no real complaints needed. Now, going into the actual match, I think, and I know this is going to be shocking analysis and genius analysis, I think it's important that New South Wales have to win game one. Who would have thought that winning the first game of the 3-game series is important? I actually think for this New South Wales side that I don't think the pressure's that much on them as much as it would be if it was their first staying side, because, with all the injuries and stuff like that. I do think the Queensland are going to come into this as the favourites, and I think they are slightly, but I think, with that team, that's going to be very hard. I think it's going to be, for New South Wales to win, I do expect it to be more of a closer, low-scoring game. But if I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game, I feel like it would benefit Queensland more. But in terms of a prediction for this, it's interesting, but I think New South Wales will win. I don't know. I just feel like the pressure kind of being off them a little bit. And with this side, I think if they go out there and they just, and just play the game, and they do need to do a serious amount of things to actually get it done. But I do think this team could be able to get a bit of an upset win in game one and then go into, I believe it's Melbourne for game two. In terms of first try score, I think Queensland actually might score first. So I'll go with, I'll go Xavier Coates. I think it's a pretty safe bet, whatever. But, yeah, I think New South Wales will win by 6 or 4, something along those lines. So it'll be a close game. I'm excited. Who do you guys have winning State of Origin Game 1? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all later.